The infinite space of consciousness is even purer than infinite space, and the world is even as that infinite is. If this was written about 1,000 years ago, then I suspect it was probably influenced by Buddhism, and Buddhist scholasticism had peaked by then. And within Buddhism, there are various meditative states which get more and more refined, apparently, and two of the higher ones are the sphere of infinite space and the sphere of infinite consciousness. And I got a feeling that this is actually relating to that, because the awareness of the sphere of infinite space comes before the awareness of the sphere of infinite consciousness. And what does this mean? We don't want to be getting technical or scholastic here. It's actually quite straightforward. Space is infinite. And we're not talking about outer space here or deep black space with lots of stars in it. We're just talking about the infinite variety of what I'd call the field of experiencing. There's everything going on. There's infinite variety going on around us. And that's infinite space. And we've got awareness of that. That's infinite consciousness. To be aware of infinite space, your consciousness is infinite. In other words, infinite here isn't in the sense of going on for a very long distance. It's just infinite variety. There's no cap to it. It just keeps going on and on and on. So many things going on. So you become aware of the infinity of space, the infinite variety of what is going on, what is happening. Whether I'm supposed to be in a room right now, but I could go outside, I'm near the sea, and it's just changing all the time. And my awareness I can be aware of that. So that's infinite consciousness. So the infinite space of consciousness is even purer than infinite space. And it's purer in the sense that if I'm aware of that, then I'm with my awareness. So it's the closer awareness is, or the more often awareness is aware of itself, then we could say the purer it is. So the infinite space of consciousness is even purer than infinite space, and the world is even as that infinite is. So there's no difference. It's not when I'm saying I'm being aware of something. There's actually not a difference between being the object and being aware of the object. It's all awareness. Either you get that or you don't. I mean, there's so many ways of expressing it, and that's expressing it in perhaps a rather abstruse manner. And this is all Vasistha's doing. He's trying to explain this or express it. You can't really explain it, but express it in different ways. And hopefully one of these ways will click with Rama. So he goes on to say, but one who has not tasted capsicum does not know its taste. Even so, one does not experience consciousness in the infinite, in the absence of objectivity. This is a truly objective experience. It's objective in the sense that it's got nothing to do with you as a person or as a personality or as a psyche. It goes beyond the psyche. It goes beyond personal psychology. So it is a purely we could describe it as a purely objective thing. And if you haven't what's the word? Well, if you haven't, you can't really know it, but just I have to sort of resort to limitation of words, but if you haven't experienced that objectivity, contradiction, isn't it? Experiencing objectivity, then it's difficult to get a handle on all this. Hence, even this consciousness appears to be inert or insentient, and the world is experienced as such too. And that's often how we experience the world, isn't it? We experience it as inert or as insentient, as blind matter. But it's not. Even as in tangible ocean, tangible waves are seen, in the formless Brahman, the world also exists without form. From the infinite emerges, and exists in it as the infinite. The infinite can't be anything else. Hence, the world has never really been created. It is the same as that from which it emerges. When the notion of self is destroyed by the withdrawal of the fuel of ideas from the mind, that which is the infinite. And so really this is just saying, when we bypass the cognitive process, when we stop categorizing things, when we stop trying to figure out the relationship of things between each other, between ourselves and things, when we let all these notions go, we've only what is left is the infinite, or what we realize is the infinite. That which is not sleep nor inert is the infinite. 'Tis on account of the infinite that knowledge, knower and known exist as one, in the absence of the intellect. The intellect again being the cognitive process. And it isn't that the object and the perceiver merge into one. There's no merging going on. They are one. They're non-different. It's only the cognitive process which says otherwise. And the cognitive process is no more than a way of thinking.